Oh, what's happening, gang? This was the first time I've recorded a reaction to anything. But today is a special day because today is March 21st and Shadow vs. Ryuko is out. I mean, hold on, let me just, there we go. I have snacks, I have 2 drinks, I am ready. This mug is empty, actually. There's nothing in it, except for my soul. But this is the first time I've recorded a reaction to just about anything. So, hopefully, this goes well, and Rooster Teeth will not take it down. This is pre-recorded though, so I've heard the track. It's alright. It's not my favorite thing. I'm not a huge fan of the matchup itself. I think Ryuko vs. Shadow overgeneralizes, I think, both the characters and puts them in a place where they're okay to fight each other, which I don't think is correct. I think that they both have better options. Ryuko's a bit more messy, but Shadow for sure has better options. I'd say probably even like Vegeta was Vegeta was a better option than Ryuko ever was. And yeah, basically all they have in common is that they have black hair with red stripes. And I will fight anybody who says like Shadow. I'll give you that. Like, the original Shadow isn't too edgy. He's too Shadow is just kind of, he's not edgy. But like Shadow the Hedgehog, Shadow is like, where's that name for me? Like that, I'll give you that. But Ryuko's like not really that edgy. She's just kind of, well, I can't even explain it right. Her character is not one that just like swears and curses for the sake of it. She's not like, I hate humans. Like, when she finds a family, she, cares about them. And it's not like she hides her affection for anybody either. And so I just think this whole matchup misrepresents both characters. Ryuko more so, I will say that. But I'm still fairly excited to see what kind of shenanigans this episode will entail. I've heard many a name be mispronounced already, so that's not a good sign. But then again, I've rewatched Rice vs. Mitsuru a lot of times, so I'm used to it. So let's just jump into it. Alright.
Shadow the Hedgehog, powerhouse of chaos and rival to Sonic.
And Ryuko Matoi, the keen fighter and light fiber from Kill la Kill.
They both may be tryhard incarnate, but when the chips are down,
Oh my god.
he's the edgelord of them all.
He's whizzing
My god.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Dr. Gerald Robotnik, grandfather to the Dr. Eggman we all know, had a problem. His granddaughter, Maria, was dying, succumbing to a neuroimmunity disease with no known cure.
But old Jerry had a plan. When the government
I'm already
contacted him
upset
to build
that
the
they
ultimate life form, he figured it's the
my god.
Cure Maria no problem. So he took the job, and by studying the infinite power of Chaos Emeralds with some alien assistance, he made the one and only Shadow the Hedgehog. Wait, did the government commission him, or was it Hot Topic?
Better question, since when were hedgehogs ultimate disease-curing life forms? I mean, Gerald's prototype was a lizard, which sort of makes sense, as certain reptiles have regenerative tissue, but then he went from this to a hedgehog.
Okay, who cares if he's a lizard, hedgehog, squirrel, or whatever, Wiz? All that matters is he's super badass looking, super badass sounding, and is super powered by chaos. Literally.
Shadow's powers are directly tied to those of the Miracle Gems, Chaos Emeralds. He can tap into their power for incredible feats, similar to his Blue Lord rival. Likely for this very reason, he actually possesses many of the same abilities as Sonic.
You know, the guy who's so fast he can almost outrun a black hole?
Spin attacks, homing attacks, spin dashes, etc.
But unlike his blue buddy, Shadow's not afraid to get serious and bust out some lead. Hey Sonic, why use a spin attack when you've got a goddamn gun or a sword as big as you? Look at that thing!
He's used some of the same power-ups that Sonic's picked up, like heat barriers and magnetic lightning shields. But he also has some unique gear all of his own.
His air shoes are way cooler than Sonic's sneakers. They can boost his speed to match Sonic's and also let him fly. Kind of. He's even got some gear attached that lets him attack at the speed of light.
However, all of these abilities and equipment are mere accessories to Shadow's true power, the might of chaos itself. Even without an emerald on hand, Shadow can summon similar power, manifesting attacks like Black Tornado, Chaos Blast, or the deadly Chaos Spear.
But even though they totally asked for Doc Terry to make Shadow, the feds got spooked and tried to shut down the project, and that's when things went bad. Like, really bad.
Shadow was successfully sealed away, but in the crossfire, a life was lost. Maria.
Locked up and super pissed off, Shadow had plenty of time to work on his angsty poetry, and Terry had time to give him fake memories and a need for revenge against all humanity. When did you think we're ever gonna find a scientist who doesn't go totally bonkers?
I mean, what about me?
Okay.
Well, since Maria was Shadow's only real friend, revenge seemed like a good idea, which was a serious problem considering just how powerful he is.
He can teleport, slow down, or even stop time, and even time traveled a bit. And just like any teenage boy, he's got some serious mood swings he doesn't like to talk about.
Which can actually affect his abilities. With negative emotion, his raw power intensifies. With positive emotion, he gains more control. But when it comes down to it, the government may have been right to worry. Shadow possesses so much power, even he can't always control it.
Chaos powers are crazy. Sonic once used all 7 of the Chaos Emeralds to literally rebuild the Earth.
This is why Shadow wears inhibitor rings, which limit how much chaos energy he can release at once. When he does remove them, what he loses in control is made up for by a massive increase in power, enough to match that of a whole Chaos Emerald. What are you looking at?
Is that, do you have a ring on your robot arm?
It was, gift?
Cool. Well, good luck with that. All the rings I've given out to people always get sent back eventually. Anyway, Spikey Head's so powerful, he teleported an entire space colony and even a
What a funny joke.
Plus, he's held back this huge space plant monster.
And of course, tapping into the power of additional Chaos Emeralds increases his power to unbelievable heights.
By doing a tango with all 7, he can turn into Super Shadow. Now, without power rings, this form can't stick around for more than a full minute. But while he's golden, he's got super enhanced abilities, is basically invulnerable, and he can fly.
Base Shadow's not only survived being shot out of a cannon, but he's just as tough as Sonic, who survived the space station Death Egg exploding right in front of him. Most impressively, as Super Shadow, he and Supersonic were fired into planet Aquarius, obliterating it. This would take over a whole exaton of TNT.
So you exosplaned.
Okay, they spelled exaton wrong,
Shadow being
but
trapped. Eggman himself
you sure? You sure about that? Because exaton is moon level. I'm very confused about that.
Before they noticed.
Shadow has dodged gunfire and destroyed enemies without being seen, but his light speed attacks are stated as being exactly that, light speed. Almost 3 million meters per second.
So Shadow's super strong and super fast. Makes sense he's a formidable enemy to just about anyone.
Lucky for our heroes, they inspired Shadow to regain his memories of Maria, who actually wanted him to protect humanity instead of, destroy it.
That was
He may
dumb.
have softened up, but he'll always be the edgy hedgehog we love to hate to love.
Understood. Initiate mission now.
Thousands of years ago, aliens that would come to be known as life fibers crashed to Earth.
That's fair,
These
I guess.
parasites
It's
attached
pretty
themselves to the
cool.
most intelligent species they could
But
find.
just
humans.
And they even
it was like 8 minutes ago, but I'm still upset that they called Ryūko edgy, because they stand by like she's not.
Yeah. Anyway, the life fibers helped humans evolve more quickly and soon just passively survived as humanity developed. But some weren't content with such passivity, like Ryūko, who had access to the original primordial life fiber that landed on Earth so long ago.
And humans are gonna human, so she and her husband experimented on that sucker like nobody's business.
They attempted to infuse fibers into both of their daughters. Their first daughter was too old for the experiment to be a success, and it appeared that their infant second daughter was also a failure, so Ryūko just threw her away.
Whoa! She threw away her baby? And that reminds me of how my dad just threw away our relationship.
Just shut the fuck
Well,
up.
fortunately for this child, her father couldn't stand by Ryūko's decision and rescued her, assuming the name Ishin Matoi, and raised this daughter himself. This is Ryūko.
Yeah, things were okay for a while, but it wasn't a picnic at the Matoi household. Ryūko and Ishin didn't always get along, so he shipped her off to boarding school to find other people there instead of him. When she finally came home, she found dear old dad bleeding out, impaled by a weird-looking sword.
This was the first half of what would become her signature weapon, the scissor blades. In Ishin's last moments, he urged Ryūko to find whoever wielded the other half of the weapon, the one who killed him.
Ryūko might not have known it, but the scissor blades were created by her father out of life fiber.
They're actually one of the only weapons that can cut and destroy life fibers, which is important when your opponents are all using, you know, life fibers.
I would say we take a shot every time we say life fiber, but you definitely die, Wiz. And do not try that at home. Anyway, with the quest of revenge and half a scissor blade, she started hunting down her father's killer. But she couldn't do it by herself, so she found a skimpy sailor suit to help her out. Yeah, here's that fan service thing I was telling you about.
This is Senketsu, a living suit made from life fibers, also known as a kamui. Now, there's plenty of clothing out there made with some life fiber, but a kamui like Senketsu is unique in that it's made of 100% life fiber. And yes, I said living suit.
Wait, Ryūko! These assassins can't hear me! Oh, that feels nice.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
Not just anyone can wear Senketsu.
Senketsu the goat, though.
Successfully bond with him for the process to work. Lucky for Ryūko, she absolutely could, in no small part thanks to the life fibers infused within her body when she was an infant.
See, Mom, you trash person, it did work. And when she and Senketsu learned how to work together, there wasn't much that could stand in their way. He's more than just a sailor outfit.
As a life fiber construct, Senketsu can absorb other life fibers to increase his own power, allowing him to transform to gain new abilities.
His Senjin form makes him super spiky, and his Shinbu form turns Ryūko into a badass.
Ryūko?
He's also able to combine both the Senjin
Ryūko,
and Shinbu forms for more
my lord.
versatility. Admittedly, though,
Her name is 3 syllables, and you've only got one correct.
Fueled by Senketsu consuming her
Chad.
blood. This is most dangerous in his berserker form that occurs when Ryūko gets too upset and Senketsu loses control. If not stopped in time, she could die from too much blood loss.
But most impressive is when Ryūko straight up goes flying Super Saiyan and Senketsu turns into his Kisaragi form. It's way more powerful and uses even more of her blood. What's the deal? Is Senketsu a vampire?
Well, a popular theory suggests that it's all a metaphor for puberty. Senketsu pulling out Ryuko's blood is symbolic of menstruation, and the skimpier outfits visualize acceptance of sexuality and adulthood, except she's a teenager who already went through puberty.
Wiz, do you have a daughter?
No.
I thought so. At least having life fiber DNA means she has crazy abilities on top of Senketsu's transformations, like insane super fast healing.
Basically, life fibers restore themselves so quickly that Ryuko's body starts regenerating before a blade has finished cutting through her. Unless someone is quick enough to cut through her body before this regeneration begins, she can survive almost anything.
She's been stabbed and sliced tons of times, including completely in half, and even had her heart ripped out of her chest. Can we get this chick as the next guest character in Mortal Kombat? I mean, they're taking basically anybody these days, so...
Her strength is incredible. At one point, she had to blast a hole through a layer of life fibers surrounding the entire planet.
There it is.
Life fibers are stated to be harder than solid steel. So to pull this off, she must have struck with a force equivalent to over 650 exatons of TNT.
Well, that's larger than Shadow's output, but that's also not Shadow's best feat.
finally found her father's killer.
And completed the rending scissors.
These swords can casually cut through skyscrapers and have some super forms of their own. Decapitation mode extends the blades for better slicing and dicing, while alumni mode makes them so gigantic they eclipse the freaking Earth. What is this show?
Next to Ryūko, one scissor blade is normally about 2.5 feet long. Scaling up, the alumni mode appears to be about 1,017 times larger, weighing well over 3 million tons. If you have a pair of normal scissors at home, imagine lifting 50 billion of those all at once. That's what this is like.
She can slice through 200 tennis balls 5 times each in less than a second, which us in the scientifically community call fast as f***.
Or 8,000 times faster than sound. And she rocketed into the atmosphere in less than 18 seconds, which means her flying speed can reach Mach 500.
Wait. Why is everyone naked?
Ryūko may not have had the easiest upbringing, but after dedicating herself to revenge for so
Yeah.
long, and yet saving the entire planet, she had become something unexpected. A hero.
Let's go! I'm gonna slice your ass in half!
That was a weak ass. That was weak. I was like, that's the worst one of the season so far.
Time for a death battle!
Well, I feel like they're gonna have Ryuko win now, which I don't think is right. You know,
Hey! You cut me off, asshat!
Who cares?
Ryuko, maybe we should.
Oh, yeah?
oh yeah, I was gonna say I don't agree with the using of Kisaragi. For one reason, that's that. Oh shit. Okay. Well, I don't agree with using it because it required a lot of Goki uniforms, but it also required Junkets, which
You should anticipate him instead.
No shit, stupid!
that didn't look the best. And Junkets is the other combo, which I don't think is standard for Ryuko. So
Damn.
Let's get faster! Engine, shape now! Aw, did your mommy pack that sword for you?
Careful. That hurts.
I'm a little freak.
made a crater,
Time to end this.
super shadow.
That cat, he's unlucky!
Yeah, I like that. Faker. That sounded like a John Talbane scream.
Blade! Alumni mode! Sayonara, dipshit!
Shut up!
Chaos blast.
Did he just win?
I'm the coolest.
KO! You know, we made fun of how little clothing Ryuko was wearing, but
Ryuko again, my
the
god.
whole time.
Armed with senkets for scissor blades and her life fiber buffs, Ryuko was definitely a match for Shadow, At first.
Yeah, with her awesome strength combined with her insane endurance, Space Form Shadow was in a lot of trouble. But even then, it wasn't a surefire win for the rocket chick.
Outside of his super form, Shadow never withstood anything on the scale of Ryuko's hole in the life fibers surrounding her. At her maximum power, she could have easily dealt a killing blow, if she could catch him. Shadow could keep up with Sonic the Hedgehog, whose race against the black hole proves he can move over 260,000 times faster than sound. Far faster than anything Ryuko's shown, and more than quick enough to slice through a life fiber before it has time to heal.
Once the red and black Hedgehog turned red and gold, Ryuko didn't really have a way to take him down. I mean, Super Shadow's Chaos powers use all 7 Chaos Emeralds, which can move pieces of the Earth around.
Considering Earth's total mass and the speed at which each piece was moved, this would require exerting energy equivalent to 1.6 decillion joules, which translates to over 2,800 zetatons of TNT.
That's a ton of power. A lot more than Ryuko's biggest hits. Even 1 Chaos Emerald is enough to match Ryuko's best. And considering
They finally said it right.
the power of an emerald when he takes off those inhibitors, he had better odds of winning even without going super.
Ryuko put up an amazing fight, one for the ages, but Shadow's unmatched power and speed proved too much for Our Lady in black and red.
Hey, he's pretty beat up about it too. Do you know what he said when he was asked what his favorite anime is?
I like the one with the edgy girl and the scissor blade.
It's canon. No, really.
In clothing, the Hedgehog couldn't be overshadowed, and Ryuko's life fiber was snipped.
The winner is Shadow the Hedgehog.
Hope you guys enjoyed that episode of Death Battle. If you did, make sure to
Okay,
like,
let's
subscribe,
see what's
click the bell
next.
to be notified about more videos. And in the meantime, watch one of these videos by clicking the box down below.
Oh shit, it's Lex versus Doom. Well, that was something. I will agree. I think Shadow wins. I think this, I don't really have a lot to say, which is odd, but I just I think the animation was pretty cool. I don't like how I don't really like how some of it looked. Especially I think the shadow sprites didn't really work well with the Ryuko sprites. I think Ryuko was a bit out of character. And Shadow, his ending line could have been so much better than "I'm the coolest, I'm the best." I'm the coolest. After Yoda versus Mickey, this is definitely, I think, a downgrade in terms of basically everything. The animation was way better in Yoda versus Mickey. I feel like there was a lot more passion in that project, and it did blatantly mischaracterize either of them. I enjoy that basically they go super at the exact same time. I think that's a neat thing. I'm not a huge fan of how the transformation into Kisaragi looked. It just didn't look too great, like the life fibers coming in. I don't think it looked too good. The kill itself is kind of boring. It's just a vaporize, which if all the deaths this season are going to be vaporized deaths, I'm going to be actually upset. Doom versus Lex. When Doom dies, if Doom dies, I hope that they do something interesting with like the orbital satellite or something like that. I'm glad that Lex. I'm glad that Lex is back, but at the same time, Iron Man versus Lex is like one of the best animations they've ever done, and I think from the looks of it, this is going to be a sprite fight, which can't work. but if you're counting likes in another that'll just kind of sets yourself up for failure. And this also means that out of the 3 episodes this season, 2 of them feature a returning character, and 1 of them is nothing but returning characters. I thought the season would be off to a pretty good start after Yoda vs. Mickey. I'm not too excited now for what the future holds. I was really hoping they wouldn't sorry, I really have to pull my nose. I was really hoping they wouldn't do all the reveal characters right away, and I think that's what they're doing right now, which I think is a bad move. I think spacing them out like they did with season 7 was a good move. But other than that, I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge fan of Brendan Blabber. Not for like personal political reasons. I just don't like his videos. But you know, he did a pretty okay job, and I did enjoy the faker line. I think it was really well done. It's really well executed. I can't remember who did Ryūko, but I wasn't a fan of her in the preview. I think as the fight goes on, I think she does get better, and she actually made a point to try and pronounce the names in like Japanese. And I'm just not a huge fan of English. I feel like if you're gonna have one character curse throughout the entire thing, I feel like Shadow would do it. He only really did it once. All he said damn once. And I feel like Ryuko's that's not really in her to like say like shit. I'm glad neither of them said fuck though. That was my biggest concern. I was like, oh my god, somebody's gonna say fuck. Now I'm more like that than I would have been. Well, I think in terms of representation, the rundown for both of them is fairly good. I just think that the general matchup itself mischaracterizes Ryuko in a big way, and I think the fight does a better job characterizing her than the matchup. But at the same time, this is just, it's okay. It's, in terms of second episodes, what was the second episode of season 5? I don't know, it's freaking else. It was Bear vs. Black Panther. And then the one before Drew. Oh, it was Raven vs. Twilight. I think second episodes really peaked with Mega Man Battle Royale. I think, quite honestly, Mega Man Battle Royale could have been their season premiere, and maybe should have. Aquaman vs. Namor is fun. It's a fun episode, but it's not one I would like stake a premiere on. I think Mega Man Battle Royale is more interesting, but we're not here to talk about that. I disagree with some things being used. I know for a fact that tennis ball thing has been counts higher than Mach 100. I know it's somewhere in the sub-relative range, so I think like a 10th speed of light. Yeah, I talked to the reaction itself about how I think Kisaragi shouldn't really be used. But even without it, I think Ryuko was, outclassed in a lot of ways. I'm surprised they didn't go more in depth with Sonic Speed, because Sonic Speed does get higher than just 1 times faster in light, or speed of light, I guess. It can get higher. As for power, I honestly have no clue. I don't really care about Sonic as it were in Versus. I like his games, but other than that, I don't really care. It's like Mario, I play the games, I have fun, but at the same time, I'm not here to like debate the words. Or like Kill la Kill, I'm like, okay, I'm in this now. I'm in this. Let's do this. Actually, I don't know if I should say this, but a while ago I did like a thing where like I did a when I released a song for Bruno versus Satsuki. I did like a little faux death battle script, and I'm trying to say, because I enjoy the episode for what it is. I just think it's I think it's blatant character assassination, just being completely honest. At least for Ryūko, and I've said that a lot. But I mean, other than that, I was fairly looking forward to this, because Ryūko has one of the more interesting kits. I wouldn't call it that. Ryuko's an interesting character to analyze. I think Kill la Kill as a verse is interesting to analyze as well. I do think we did worse. So Amount of Justice. It is weird how I think they only mentioned Satsuki by name. I think they only mentioned Ryūko, Satsuki, and Senketsu, which is a little odd. I don't think they even mentioned that Satsuki is Ryuko's sister. They mentioned Ryūko, but not by name, and I noticed that. It's like they keep just saying deadbeat mom, and like you could just call her Ryūko. I don't know. Maybe even though the anime is like 7 years old, they don't want people to be spoiled. Even though the fact that Ryūko is Ryuko's mom is a spoiler. Other than that, I don't have a lot to say. I agree with the outcome, even if I think there was some, not an inflation, but like deflation of calcs, especially on Ryuko's side. But I am curious how they did that calc for base shadow from like Sonic X, because X-Tons is like, they mentioned it was a planet, so I had to assume it's similar in size to Earth. And blowing up a planet does not get exotons, it just doesn't. Exotons, if you don't know, is the basis for, I believe, moon level characters. So they blatantly misspelled it. I actually do want to know who edited this, because the edit was not that great. No offense meant to anybody, by the way, when I say this. I just have very conflicting feelings on it, because I'm happy that Kill la Kill was represented at least fairly well, but at the same time, I think the very premise of the episode itself fails to capture why people like Ryūko. I think quite honestly, people like her because she's a bit of a flip on the whole edgy character. Like, you see her, and you're like, just an edgy bitch. She's like, to call Ryūko edgy, I think, blatantly misunderstands her character's development throughout the course of the series. Yeah, that's the end of that thought. I don't know, I've been recording for a little while now, and I think now is a good time as any to stop and collect my thoughts, maybe talk to some people about it, and move the fuck on with my life. I guess I'd like about Team vs. Lex for a second, even though I did before. I'm not a huge fan of the matchup itself. It's just Marvel vs. DC again, and I think both of them had better opponents that they already did episodes for. I don't think this really fits within the series. I'm sorry, the season idea that they had going. This and Ryuko vs. Shadow, I think, both kind of contradict the whole this season is a bunch of legacy matchups, because what? Like, Ryūko versus Shadow has history. The history is less than a year old, but it has history. But who in the goddamn actually, like, wants Doom versus Lex? I'm being quite honest. People want Darth Vader back to, like, fight Obito or whoever the fuck you want. But I've legit never seen anybody talk about Doom versus Lex. And I think part of it is it's just another boring DC versus Marvel fight, and it's entirely too predictable. And they're gonna have, they're gonna have Lex win because he's a DC hero. While Doom is interesting, I think they already explored him fine enough in his own episode. Other than that, I can only hope, for some foot dives. Maybe get the original Lex VA back, because we didn't have a Doom VA. So that episode was like, because like with Darth Vader, you kind of need to have either a very good impersonator, or you just use clips, and they just use clips, which, I mean, I'm totally fine with, But for Lex, I do hope they get his VA back, and I do hope that, I don't want to say I hope the episode's 3D. Sorry, spurp. I don't want to say that. I hope the episode can live up to the mantle that both the previous episodes set for it, and I don't think I will, given what we've got so far. I think it's hard to say, because I think Universe's Mickey is still going to be my favorite episode of the season whenever Doom vs. Lex comes out, and that's wholly disregarding the fact that I am just the stupidest person, because I'm a fan of Kingdom Hearts. Like, I imported this from Europe to play it, because I'm cheap, and the disc is in my PS4. Like, I've played those games, and I think I can say that in terms of just episode quality, Universe's Mickey is so much better. Other than that, I think there hasn't been a very good analysis in terms of like humor at all this season. The closest I think I came to that was Mickey's Rundown. I think there was an overabundance of dad jokes in this episode, which doesn't really, I'm not sure why they did that. That's really the only joke they did for both of them. Other than just calling Shadow edgy and what the fuck was it? It was like always explaining symbolism about puberty. That wasn't very good as a joke, if it was meant as one. I'm cautiously optimistic I will say I'm cautiously optimistic for the rest of the freaking season right now. After this, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I think this is up there with, like, I want to say, like, this is like Venom versus Corona level of, that's like the same level. I think if this is the worst the seasons get, then it's automatically better than season 7. But if this is the worst the season gets, but if this is the threshold right now, I hope that it can go up. But I fear that Doom versus Lex is only going to make it go down, because I don't know who would be passionate enough to make that an interesting episode, quite honestly. then watch him come out, and it's gonna boggle our minds with how amazing it is. And now that I'm thinking about it, Leo's probably gonna write it. And now I'm thinking about that, I'm gonna probably like it. But yeah, other than that, I enjoyed this episode in spite of my personal bias going in, even though I think it's the weakest offering that, I'll be frank, I think it's the weakest offering since Ryūko vs. Todoroki, the Death Battle was produced. And I'm a person, so my glasses are weird. I'm a person who actually enjoys Ryūko vs. Todoroki. I'm one of the two. Yeah, so that's it. I'm gonna be going now because it's a little past 1 and I got shit I need to do today other than edit this reaction. So, bye. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Obviously, I'm not gonna take away anybody's enjoyment just because I personally didn't really have one with the episode.